Alright, so as you guys can see by the title, in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to pretty much use these panels that I got from Home Depot to transform any room in your house. So these panels, I got 2 of them for $50 each, so about $100. The goal for this project is to stay below at least $500, and I'm going to show you guys a picture of the room that we're fixing up in our house. But we have a living room downstairs, but we also have a living room upstairs that you would say, but we haven't really used that upstairs as a living room. It's pretty much been kind of like a junk room, so we're trying to do a project for it, and we thought to just make it into kind of like a chill area for us to, you know, have like movie nights in and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm about to cut these panels down to about 93.5 because that's the size from the height of the ceiling to about the top of the baseboards along the floor. The panels are actually about 96 inches, so I got to cut about 2.5 inches off. My numbers are written down on my hand, so I remember everything. But my goal is to cut once, because if you make any mistakes with this, you can't really redo it. But let's get started with that. I'm gonna update you guys as I go on. All right, so the way I'm doing this, I wouldn't recommend a lot of people do this, but so I kind of got them both aligned, one on top of the other. I just made sure that all sides were even. I'm pretty much marking where the 93.5 is, which is where I need to cut it, and I'm gonna use my circular saw to cut it. But the goal is to get 93.5, not anything above or below. All right, so long story short, that first one that I cut, it wasn't perfect, but it also, you can't really tell where I messed up at. So I have the extra piece that I cut off, and I'm just using that as a piece that I'm gonna align for this second panel that I have to cut. And I just have 2 clamps that are gonna secure it down right here, and I'm gonna just go along the edge and cut all the way down the end. Right now I'm just making sure that this piece is actually straight and somewhat doesn't need any adjustments, because I have the other piece upstairs and I already checked to see if it correctly fits along the ceiling and the baseboard, and it does. So I just wanted to make sure that this one, before I cut it, won't need any fixes. I'm gonna get this one cut and update you guys. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is going along the edge of the baseboard so that I can mark where the studs are. This is gonna help me when I have the panels on the wall to remember where the studs are, because I have markers along the wall, but when I have the panels, obviously I won't be able to see, so going along the baseboards will help me a lot more. And my goal is to get at least 2 studs in a decent area. So right here I have a stud mark. I have a stud mark right here, then I have a stud mark all the way over here. But the panel is gonna be from right here to about right here. So if I can find one more in the middle, that should be good. But realistically, I'll be good with putting a lot of brad nails and just 2 studs. But if I can find one at least right here, that should be good. Here's one. And then this is the middle, so one of the panels is going to go this way, and then the other panel is going to go that way. So again, I need to find where some studs are. I got one, I believe, right here. Right there. And if you don't have one of these, this is a stud buddy. This pretty much is where you can find any of the screws that are in the studs that are behind this drywall. This will connect to it. It's just pretty much a magnet. It's cheap. You can get it at Home Depot or Amazon. Okay, then we got one right here. Okay, so we got at least 2 studs in each spot that we can get a secure connection to for the panels, because I'm using 18 gauge brad nails, and these brad nails are pretty long. They're about 1 inch long. I think I got some 1.5 inches in there too, but they should go pretty deep in to get a good connection. And I also wanted to show you guys, here's where the plugs are, and luckily I was able to get a good trace in the second panel. And I don't think it's great, but I think it's good, it's decent. I'll show you guys. These are the 2 holes that I cut out. I just went on the wall, measured out and down. I pretty much had like a formula in my head how I measured it, but long story short, I was able to cut small holes, not big holes, so that if it didn't fit the way I wanted it to, I could just redo it. But for now, we're gonna see how this works. I'm gonna show you guys me putting it up. So just to get an idea of how this is gonna look, I pretty much have this being the left side. All right, so this is how it looks with the outlet holes. So the goal is for me to be able to put the plug plate on top of these holes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want it to be big enough for the plugs to be exposed and the cover plate to go on top of it. But hypothetically, I may have to fix it, may not. Just really depends. And then right now it looks good. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna uncover these plugs and then go and get my leveler so I can make sure it's leveled. And then if I like the way it looks, take the brad nail and go on ahead and shoot in some of those spots where the studs are, and I'll put as many nails inside of it as possible. But let's get started with that. Okay. Preferably in the black. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, this was more difficult than I thought. So I'm only able to get so many of these into studs because the studs are so far apart. So I'm trying to work with the studs that I have now. And the first time this was crooked, so I had to take it down. But this time it looks a lot better. Okay, so I got this first one up, but before I put the second one up, I wanna make sure that I have this first one up perfectly. And I'll show you guys what this looks like right here. There's a gap in between from the wall and the actual panel because there's no more studs along the edge of this area. So there's only studs as far as here, and there's literally no stud over here. So all this is pretty much loose. So I have this adhesive that I'm gonna put down on here, let this sit overnight, and go ahead and start this tomorrow and finish it. The next thing me and my wife are gonna do is paint the outside areas of the wall as well. Then we're gonna do a few other things. I guess I'm gonna turn this into a series of us remodeling this whole room because we've been here for 3 years and this has been one of the projects we've put to the side for a while. But I'm gonna get started on this adhesive and I'll see you guys in the next part of this video.